Did you guys see that Down syndrome Barbie thing?
Oh yeah. We talked about it today.
There's another Crowder controversy there.
Yeah. Well, I thought when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like,
I had no problem with it.
Why would I be mad about Down syndrome Barbie? And then Matt Walsh made the good point. He was like, this is very pro-life. I think this is a good thing. And Crowder actually made fun of it. And I wonder if Crowder actually stopped to think about what it means to have a Barbie that has Down syndrome, when one of the principal talking points on abortion is to abort people with Down syndrome.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to me because, like, we're not talking about a baby with no heart or no brain or no face. Like, if a doctor's like, your baby's not growing a face, this is like a serious problem. There's some deep ethical questions about having a baby be born with like no senses whatsoever. Still a hard question about whether you terminate that life. But now we're talking about a functioning human being you just happen to not like.
The idea of aborting children just because of Down syndrome is so offensive to me. Like, that is literally just aborting a child because you know the child will not be as smart as other people. It'll be, it will have
and think about what that means.
Intelligence. It's appalling.
I mean, it's not that far off from where the culture's going.
It's horrifying.
Think about what that means. So the criteria for abortion is this individual on average will be shorter, less attractive, and a lower IQ. We believe. Now, I don't like to say that because there are a lot of people with Down syndrome who have very prominent and productive lives and are good people and deserve their lives. And it's psychotic to me that you think they should not be alive by virtue of what they look like or how their thought process or whatever. But if you think about why they're deciding to abort people with Down syndrome, the criteria is simply if the doctor is able to test for perceived intelligence, physical stature, strength, or appearance, you're going to start having designer babies from every parent. The doctor's going to be like, your child is expected to be 5'7". Oh, abort.
I mean, but to be honest with you, right now we're aborting kids because
for no
I don't
reason.
feel like
Well,
it. Yeah, literally no reason. I don't feel like it.
But also, it's like
convenience.
If we're losing kids because of climate change and because there's perceived that the world's going to end in 10 years, and that seems to be a constant argument that's being made for why you shouldn't have kids.
It used to be that environmentalists could be just ignored, and you could just be like, "Well, they're annoying, they're whatever." Nowadays, like when it's talking about they're advocating for not having kids, they're just. Yesterday, there was a bunch of climate activists in D.C. blocking the road.
Makes me miss PETA.
Yeah, I mean,
climate activists are like our best ally. Just people against climate activists.
It's physically.
I like roadblocks though.
Breaking TOS.
I think I like roadblocks. I like it when the environmental people block the roads
because everyone hates
it's good
them.
for us
because Well, I don't. You can think whatever you want to think. My attitude is they've stepped 1 foot over the line and stopped. And that is the amount of pressure we're willing to accept in people complaining about the system, where we prevent, if you don't give people a pressure release and a means of feeling like they're being heard, you get violence. Mm-hmm. So if environmental activists are upset and all they do is sit in the middle of the road and chain their hands together and then we pick them up and remove them, everybody's inconvenienced. It's better than
they're passing laws.
They're passing laws. It doesn't matter.
But I'm saying it's like Antifa going around firebombing buildings is like, why won't this stop? People, there has to be reasonable pressure release in politics, and that is nonviolent civil disobedience.
Yeah, but I mean that's fine.
Therapy might also help these people.
What about throwing tomato soup on masters?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
All these things are fine, but there's still policy being proposed and passed.
Yeah,
that's fine.
You're not wrong.
But I'm just saying, nonviolent civil disobedience to me is what we tolerate, and going beyond that is what we do not tolerate. Mm-hmm. So if environmentalists or any protester wants to block a road, we roll our eyes. We remove them from the road. We're inconvenienced, but we say, we get it. Like, people want to be heard. They want to be disruptive to the point, but we don't want them disruptive to the point where they're hurting, destroying. So nonviolent civil disobedience is the mechanism by which we allow people to protest the system.
Do you think if you stopped, got out of your car and were like, I'm on my way to a climate change speech, could you get out of the way, they would move for you?
No.
This is what you guys do. Wait, hold on. No, yes, they would. Here's what you do.
So
Make fake pamphlets of you as a climate change speaker. And then if you ever get blocked, go out there and go, guys, high five. Dude. This is me. Look, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to a speech right now. We're doing a rally. I'm so thankful for you guys to be here. Do you mind if letting me go to the rally? And they'll be like, you got it, buddy.
Definitely.
And then you go to your gasoline party where everyone's filling up their tractors.
And you make one for all of them. You make one for trans rights. You make one for climate change.
Yeah.
And then no matter where you get stopped, you end up finding a way out of it. By
That's right.
Showing
Zoom
that
right
pamphlet.
through.
You're like, you're rifling through your pamphlets.
Wait.
You're like, oh, wait, wrong one.
Here's another one. If you're driving down the street and a bunch of people are rioting, you open up your glove box and look for whichever cause flag it is. You got Black Lives Matter, you got Antifa.
Perfect.
Then you pull it out and you wave and you go, yeah. But I'll give you guys some advice. Legitimately, people don't realize this. Having been on the ground in tons of these riots, if you are in your car and you slowly drive up to an intersection where there's people protesting, screaming, or rioting, and you honk and tell them to move, they will destroy your car.
Yeah.
If you honk and raise your fist and go, woohoo, yeah, they'll let you right through.
One of the counter arguments.
I'm not telling you to do that because it's messed up that you have to bend the knee to them, but just keep that in mind.
I don't know if this is a counter argument, but there is this new Passover phenomenon where during the riots they'll put up like a Black Lives Matter flag on their business, which is like, please don't attack me.
They do
but
that.
they still get attacked anyway.
No, they don't.
Well, I've seen some very funny memes where they are.
There's a picture out of Hamburg, Germany, where the entire storefront, all the storefronts are destroyed.
And just the one left?
One in the middle with an Antifa sign was left alone.
That's incredible.
And go to Berkeley, and what you'll see is every business has some kind of pro-leftist sign in the window. Otherwise, they will smash your window out.
What's that famous picture of like a single mother-owned business?
Spare
Please
me.
don't destroy this.
Sad.
Yeah.
In Oakland, and this is not during any protest or anything, just in Oakland in general on a random day. There was a Burger King and it said, "This is a family-owned Burger King franchise. Please don't destroy. Please don't vandalize our business." And that was just normal, because the violent extremists that are so prevalent in the Bay Area, on any given day, you have to put up that "Please don't hurt me." I went to a bar, and they had "Trump is a pig" or something in the window, and the bartender was talking about stuff, and she did not sound like a leftist. So I said, "Do you put that thing in the window about Trump?" And she's like, "Oh, we put that there." And I was like, "Do you really not like him?" And she was like, "Oh, I don't care. It's just they'll smash the windows if we don't."
Yeah.
Yep. Imagine wanting to live there. And then she told me a story about how she got injured, like permanently injured, because she's white. She said that she was walking down the street and some people were like, "She's white, get her." And they started beating her up and they hurt her knee or something. And I'm just like, why do you live here?
Yeah, I don't get it. There's so many people who live in those environments that don't even know they're supposed to be afraid.
Yeah, but also, like, I mean, for a lot of them, they get stuck. You can't afford to move. It's
No,
not,
but like not with the
everybody has
hipsters.
money
The
to just move out.
hipsters do it voluntarily.
Yeah.
I mean, I know who you're talking about. The hipsters will do it voluntarily and just act like it's normal.
Well, that's in Minneapolis. I'm from Minnesota, and that's what happened in Uptown, right? Like during 2020, all the businesses got destroyed, and they're all getting spray painted. You know, the front of these all of these local businesses. And what the city was doing is they were charging a fee. Basically, they said you have 72 hours to remove all this graffiti, and if you don't, we're going to cover it for you, and we're going to charge you for doing that. And so then they vote for these policies, not realizing that this is your own fault for this happening. But it doesn't reach their brain that there's a way that they could get themselves out of this, but because they're too used to it, it's assimilated into the way they live their lives.
It's the kind of the whole rhetoric around harm reduction strategies. There's just sort of this acceptance that everything is awful, and the best we can do is maybe make it slightly less awful. And then you look at El Salvador and go, oh, wait, they were the most violent country in the entire world 5 years ago, and now they have less murders than the state I'm from. A little weird. I'm from New Jersey. It's one of the safest states, and I think have a lower murder rate per capita than we do.
Yeah,
So,
I think some people have said El Salvador is now like the lowest crime in the Americas.
I think it was and I think the murder rate so far this year is out to like 2 per 100,000 or something. You know, from 150 per. Like just for context, Chicago's murder rate I think is 30 for every 100,000 people. El Salvador's was 150. So, you know, just being
was
out,
or is?
just being was at its
Right.
peak. So just being out in an ordinary area in the middle of daytime could be as dangerous as the worst place in Chicago, and that's just your daily life. So yes, their policies are things that would not constitutionally work here, but the people there seem to view the president as a hero, even if there are some human rights violations, which obviously we wouldn't tolerate here. But it's sort of a different ballgame when you're that dangerous.
El Salvador sounds like fun, man.
They got Bitcoin.
Yeah, people keep hitting me up and being like, "You got to come." Max Kaiser's like, "When are you coming?" And it's just like, it's really hard to just do that, though.
He's down. Max Kaiser's down in El Salvador.
He's basically running the place. He's like, I don't know exactly what he
hanging
does.
out with Nabil.
Yeah, Naib, I think.
Nabil.
Bukele.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure he's probably advising on a lot of these issues. And it's kind of funny to see, Max Kaiser and Stacey going down to El Salvador and being party to cleaning up an entire country. Granted, the president gets all the credit, Naib, but they're also down there advocating for these policies, these changes. And it's just like, man, Max and Stacy just went down there and we're like, we're going to clean this place up. And now it's remarkable what you hear. Economics, the economy's skyrocketing. Yep. Yeah, we got to figure it out. Luke, we're talking to Luke about setting up a studio down there or something. Obviously, Max is hugely in favor of it, but there's a lot of people who are moving down there and investing in beachfront properties. They have Bitcoin Beach down there. Yup.
Sounds like a reality TV show to me.
Right.
Bitcoin
that could be a
Beach.
spinoff.
Yes.
Bitcoin Beach with us.
Yeah, and then when they went around arresting all the gang members, the corporate press here got mad.
Yeah.
Like, how dare he?
Because they're...
And the thing about the gang members, like, listen, obviously in America we have due process, but the thing about the gang members in El Salvador is they tattoo the gang they're part of on their body.
Yeah.
So it makes the process a bit easier to screen them out when it literally says MS on your effing chest. Anyway, not a smart idea.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.